Self-control is the key to success. 5 lessons from Charlie Munger. Charlie Munger, the late legendary vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, was the ultimate model of self-control in action. He didn't simply view self-control as a moral virtue. He recognized it as a compounding economic advantage that separated the self-made wealthy from everyone else. Munger often argued that raw intelligence is a commodity available to many people. What remains genuinely rare, and therefore extraordinarily valuable, is emotional discipline, the ability to govern your impulses, manage your ego, and resist the pull of envy. Here are 5 core lessons on self-control from Charlie Munger, backed by his own words, to help you develop that same edge. 1. Avoid the mistakes that derail most people. It is remarkable how much long-term advantage people like us have gotten by trying to be consistently not stupid, instead of trying to be very intelligent. Charlie Munger believed that a massive portion of success has nothing to do with being brilliant. It is about avoiding the predictable, self-inflicted mistakes that derail most people over time. He called this approach inversion. Instead of asking how to be smart, ask what causes people to fail and then rigorously avoid those behaviors. Self-control is your shield against the traps that consistently ruin lives, including addiction, jealousy, chronic resentment, self-pity, and extreme ideology. The person who avoids catastrophic errors across decades will outperform most people who chase genius-level wins. 2. Master your psychological misreactions. You don't have a lot of envy. You don't have much resentment. You don't overspend your income. You stay cheerful despite your troubles. You deal with reliable people, and you do what you're supposed to do. All these simple rules work so well to make your life better. Charlie Munger was deeply fascinated by how the human brain reliably trips over itself. He spent years codifying these failure patterns into what he called the psychology of human misjudgment, a catalog of the cognitive biases that lead intelligent people to make terrible decisions. True self-control requires understanding these internal biases before they hijack your behavior. Social proof bias drives people to follow the crowd straight into disaster. Incentive-caused bias pushes people toward decisions that benefit them personally, even when those decisions are irrational or harmful. When you can name these patterns in real time, you gain the power to override them rather than become their victim. 3. Master the art of waiting. It takes character to sit with all that cash and do nothing. I didn't get to where I am by going after mediocre opportunities. Charlie Munger. In a culture addicted to constant activity and instant gratification, Munger's competitive advantage in investing was extreme patience. He and Warren Buffett built one of the greatest fortunes in history, not by trading or buying an investment every day, but by waiting years for the right opportunity, and then acting with conviction when it finally arrived. Most people confuse activity with progress. They feel the psychological pressure to be doing something at all times, which leads to overtrading, overspending, and overreacting to short-term noise. Munger understood that the self-control required to sit still and wait is itself a productive act, one that preserves capital, preserves relationships, and positions you to strike when the odds are genuinely in your favor. 4. Keep your ego in check. I'm not entitled to have an opinion on this subject, unless I can state the arguments against my position better than the people do who are supporting it. I think only when I reach that state am I qualified to speak. Charlie Munger made a practice of identifying his own best-loved ideas and then working hard to destroy them. He believed that the moment you become emotionally attached to an opinion, you surrender your objectivity and open yourself to enormous blind spots. This takes a specific and demanding form of self-control. It is far easier to defend a position you already hold than to genuinely seek out evidence that challenges it. Munger trained himself to argue the opposing view with full force before committing to any conclusion. The investor or professional who can admit they are wrong quickly, without ego, and update their thinking accordingly will consistently outperform those who protect their pride at the cost of accuracy. 5. Avoid the envy trap. Envy is a really stupid sin, because it's the only one you could never possibly have any fun with. There's a lot of pain and no fun. Charlie Munger. Of all the destructive forces Munger studied, envy occupied a special place in his thinking. He considered it uniquely foolish, because every other indulgence offers at least a moment of pleasure. Envy delivers only pain, resentment, and a distorted view of your own situation. Envy drives people to take reckless financial risks to keep up with peers, to make career decisions based on status rather than substance, and to measure their lives against curated social media highlights that bear little resemblance to reality. Munger's answer was to measure success by an internal scorecard, his own standards, his own trajectory, his own values. When you stop competing with strangers and start competing with who you were yesterday, the entire game changes in your favor. Conclusion. Charlie Munger built his philosophy of success on a foundation that most people overlook entirely. Self-control is not simply a character trait. It is a skill that compounds over time, just as money does in a well-managed portfolio. Avoiding stupid mistakes, recognizing your own biases, practicing patience, keeping your ego under control, and refusing to let envy drive your decisions are not glamorous strategies. They are, however, the ones that actually work across a lifetime. Munger lived over 99 years, built extraordinary wealth, and maintained his mental sharpness and reputation until the very end. His life was proof of his own argument. Self-control, consistently applied, is one of the most powerful advantages a person can develop.